Taylor Fair here.
All right.
GGI Live.
All right.
Episode,
Here
I think
we
we're
go.
at 36, I believe.
35.
35. There we go.
Our dreams are big, but taking action is
Way bigger.
way bigger, guys. Hello, everyone on Facebook.
Are we live on Facebook?
Live on Facebook, live on
Awesome.
Instagram. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for keeping watching our episodes here.
Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about rent versus buy. What does that mean? A lot of people, especially now in our generation, in our generation, we're all pretty much millennials here, born 1985 and before, or later, sorry. We're coming into a situation where you have an option to purchase a house or you're either going to rent a house. And now with the traditional way of thinking and what a lot of our parents taught us is you should go and buy a house.
Yeah.
That's what you're going for. You want to go get that job, and then you want to go get married, and then you're going to go buy a house, right?
Yeah.
Now, maybe in the 1950s, in the 1940s, the 1960s, when we were living in an environment where we're just coming off of war, people wanted that kind of lifestyle where they wanted to go buy a house, where jobs were paying more versus what the cost of a house was. It makes more sense. It would have made more sense to buy a house because you could have paid off a house very quickly, the payments and all that kind of stuff is great. But now, in the generation that we live now, where we are, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't always make sense. It might make sense for some people, but it doesn't always make sense to buy versus rent. And we're going to talk about some of those points, and I believe Sarah's going to take point number one.
Absolutely, yeah. Let's kick it off. So with renting, it's convenience, right? So the three of us, we actually rent, right? And we own all of our assets, right? So we own our assets, we actually rent where we live. So, convenience, what do I mean by that, right? Especially with our generation who wants to get up, move, travel, all these different type of things, convenience is huge, right? So when you're renting, I don't have to worry about, oh, shit, I need to go pay this or I need to go find someone to pay off my mortgage and sell my house and go through that whole process, right? With renting, I can just get up and leave and I'm done, right? I don't have to worry about anything, just take my belongings and I'm out of there, right? Nothing to deal with the lawyers or anything of that nature. With buy, it's not an asset, okay? Your personal home is not an asset. And what do I mean by that? Everyone is thinking like, no, that's not right, right? Personal home is not an asset. Why? Is because it's not bringing money into your pocket, right? An asset should be bringing money into your pocket, right? And your personal home is not doing that. What it's actually doing is you're paying your mortgage, you're paying property tax, you're paying all these different house insurance, you're paying for all these different expenses on your house. As the furnace goes out, the maintenance on the house, all of these things you're paying for. It's not an asset, right? My rentals are an asset because it brings money into my pocket, right? I'm still paying for those mortgages, but my tenant is paying for those items, right? And I'm not paying. I'm making money off of my rentals every single month, right? Are you making money on your personal home? You're probably not, right? So unless maybe you have an extra suite or something like that. Yeah, exactly, right? Which is a great idea. So that's tip number one that we have. Who wants to take number two?
So number two, less expenses versus more expenses.
Yeah.
Right. So when you're renting, generally speaking, your expenses are going to be a little lower because you don't have to worry about maintenance and your home insurance and the property tax and all those things.
Yeah.
Maintenance is a real big thing of you having to take care of that. And like Saren said, it's not an asset where the house is producing income, right? You have to front the cost for a broken furnace. You have to front the cost for all of those things, for lawn maintenance and all of that, right? So it just ends up being a liability for you. That's all it is. A liability is when money is coming out of your pocket. Assets when money coming into the pocket, and it is not an asset because it's not paying you.
Exactly.
Right? So when it comes to when you're buying, you have to account for maintenance, home insurance, property tax, and all those things. So it's just, again, it goes back to convenience and flexibility. It's just way more flexible. A lot of people in our generation, they want to be traveling a lot, right? We have access to travel all the time, right? A lot of people looking to be entrepreneurs and living not the 9-to-5 job. So it doesn't make sense for you to have a mortgage for your personal home. A mortgage in Latin translates to death grip, right? So if your asset, if your home is a liability and you have a mortgage on it, it's just holding you, right? It's not letting you be flexible and for you to just get up and go. If you're looking to get up and travel and all that stuff, like Saren said, you can get up, cut your lease out, or your lease is done and you're done. You don't have to worry about selling your house and getting rid of your insurance and all those kind of things. So it is a big difference in that way.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I think the main thing to take away from it is the convenience side of renting.
Yeah.
That's the biggest tip here. Us millennials, as we're growing up, having $60,000-$70,000 for a deposit, or if you're doing first-time home buyers, not everyone has that kind of capital just to drop, so it's a lot harder to get started. So that's why renting, like we've been talking about, is just so much easier to get into, get out, make moves quicker, and grow your business if that's what you're doing, and that's exactly what we're doing. Another good thing about rent is predictability. So just like we were talking about expenses and how they can be unpredictable, the furnace goes out, roof has a hole, draining, gets water damage, that could happen, which really sucks. But when you're renting, the landlord's going to pay for that.
Yeah.
So if you're renting a place, $1,500 a month rent in Winnipeg, that's actually probably a pretty nice place. So, $1,500, every month, that's coming out. Something breaks, call the landlord, say, hey, Joe, this broke. They're going to come, Joe's going to come fix that for you. So you can keep your expenses at least fixed on that end, and it's a lot easier, especially in a business side of things.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to just know, okay, I can focus on my business and do that sort of thing, and move as well. On the buy side, owning your property, we already kind of went over this, but expenses could pop up. We don't know if something's going to break, and that's why it's better just to own rentals, have money coming in, and rent your personal. But on another point, if you have a different lifestyle and buying at a great discount and living in your property is something you want to do and it fits your lifestyle, maybe you have a kid's family and you're set in different ways, it might make sense for you. But
even if you had, though, at 50, 60,000, 70,000, I tell even physicians now, when they come out of school, they should rent. Because as soon as you buy that house, what most people do now is they get a job, they go buy a house, they go buy a car, and then they're stuck. And now they're saying, I have to pay all this money, I have no extra money coming out. Now they want to go buy a rental property, but they can't because they're over leveraged.
Yeah.
Right? They've already bought a $500,000 house. They've already bought an $80,000 car. Now, they don't have a down payment, and they can't even get pre-approved for a mortgage. So people coming out of work right away, they should be focused on
school.
School. They should be focused on acquiring assets, acquiring assets that are paying them. Then that income from their assets can pay for their lifestyle.
Exactly.
Right? Pay for their rent. Yeah. Now, if you don't care about traveling stuff, sure, pay for your mortgage. But what the key point is whatever your living expenses, whatever your mortgage is, it shouldn't be coming out of your own pocket. It should be coming from an asset. If you want a new car, you should figure out how much that monthly car payment is going to cost you, if it's $300 or $400 a month. And instead of paying from it from your pocket, what you should be doing is going out and getting an asset that's going to pay you $400 net profit. Yeah. That's the fundamental point here.
Yeah.
You need to have your assets pay for your living expenses, not the other way around, where you're trying to scrounge money so you can live.
Yeah.
Right? That's the main point here. And the generation that we're in, to rent just makes more sense.
Absolutely. I think I read something today, I can't remember the exact number, but 60% of the millennials are actually getting their down deposit from their parents or someone of that nature. And when I look at most of my friends, I know that a lot of them have gotten it from their parents, right? So, that money can be used
in other ways.
In other ways, right? So that's our whole point here today.
To generate income.
Yeah, absolutely.
Generate income, buy assets, don't buy liabilities.
Exactly.
A car is a liability, your personal home is a liability.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
GGI Live, episode
GGI
35.
Live.
Awesome, guys. If you guys want to connect with us more, direct message us on Facebook, any of us, Instagram, wherever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
We got our first monthly event coming up, April 14th, 2018. It's a Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay, go get it. Is coming out with our monthly event. It's going to be a little different from everyone else. It's not 2-3 hours. It's going to be pretty much a full day, like
Value.
4, 6, 8 hours of training.
Yeah.
We're going to bring in crazy good speakers, and we're going to do live training as well, really making sure people get lots of content and coming out and going out and taking action.
Lots of value, and go away when they come, take away actual real life strategies that they can implement the next day to start owning property and doing this.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, we're happy to be back in the offices, back from Toronto and the
Vegas.
10X Growth Con. Learned tons of information.
Yeah.
We acquired 8 more students, I believe, in Toronto. So we're excited to bring impact to them. They're going to kill it out there. Yeah. And that's it, guys. Let's go get it.
Let's go get it, guys. Where dreams are big, but taking action is
bigger.
Way
way
bigger. All right, guys.
See you
Check
next
it
week.
out.
Go get it. See you next Thursday.